Understanding why people change their attitude is a very important part of marketing behaviour. Perhaps you've been easily persuaded to buy a product or vote for a particular politician. Or maybe you've been the product. Have you gone for a job interview? Or been asked to do a presentation in front of a group? By the end of this presentation, you will have an understanding of 3 attitude change theories and how message appeals and source effects enable persuasion. You will also have examples of how marketing a product can be turned around to market yourself. The theories that we'll be looking at are the elaboration likelihood model, the balance theory, and the social judgment theory. The elaboration likelihood model defines when people are more likely to be influenced by either the message's content or the superficial signs surrounding the message. Looking at this model helps to explain how attitudes are formed and changed. Effectively understanding this theory will guide you in creating a message that persuades an audience in 2 ways. Each individual in an audience can follow 2 paths to persuasion. The central route to persuasion, when people are motivated and therefore desire to take in the content, and secondly, the peripheral route to persuasion, which is when the audience is affected by the surface characteristics only. Take the following example. Imagine you are attending a Star Trek convention. You've been asked by a friend. You apprehensively go, and the speakers in the event conduct a poll on which captain is better, Captain Kirk or Captain Picard. During the decision, you check your phone messages and look at some leaflets because you have no interest nor do you understand half the words that are being spoken. You then vote for the most attractive captain and leave it at that. You've taken the peripheral route to make your choice. Your friend, on the other hand, loves Star Trek and has listened intently to the discussions to make her choice. Your friend has taken the central route. In order to take the central route, you must have both motivation and the ability to pay attention. In marketing behaviour, your audience could be making choices based on superficial elements. Is that what you want? What can you do to ensure people pay attention to the content? Now let's flip it around. Let's say you started your own YouTube channel on marketing topics. How would you keep viewers watching until the end? And by the end of the video, persuade them to subscribe, even buy a book, or offer you a job? The way the content of a message is presented is important in persuading an audience. Different types of message appeals are used to tap into the emotional side of an audience. Sex appeal, humor appeal, fear and violence appeals are some of the ways marketers encourage people to make mental shortcuts to create decisions. Another way is using source effects like credibility, attractiveness, likability, and meaningfulness to help the audience define the person giving the message by using mental shortcuts based on pre-existing attitudes. When you sell yourself, think about why a person wants to sit through your talk and the benefit that they get out of it. It's fundamental to ensuring a central route to persuasion. Balance theory looks at how attitudes change when a consumer associates another person and a related stimulus. The balance theory, also known as the POX triad, contains 3 elements: self, the other person, and the stimulus. When you understand how the balance theory works, you will see that an individual associated with a brand can have a positive or a negative ramification on the consumer's attitude. The best way to explain this is when a celebrity endorses a product. For example, Nike paid cycling legend Lance Armstrong to be their spokesperson. And let's say you believe Lance is a great sportsman, and when you find out that he endorses Nike, you choose to have a positive attitude towards the Nike brand. In the balance theory, people like things to be psychologically balanced. So in this example, a positive and a positive and a positive are balanced. What happened when you heard that Lance Armstrong used drugs to win his races? Some Nike consumers did not feel psychologically balanced to like Nike while disliking knowing he and Nike had a positive relationship. Nike had to respond because potential customers could stop purchasing Nike products. It was in the brand's best interest to drop Lance Armstrong from representing Nike, and then consumers could feel better about the brand. But how do you fit into the POX triad if not a consumer? Let us say you are going for a job interview with a manager and you wear your favourite Collingwood Football Club scarf. There is a good chance that the manager's attitude towards Collingwood is unfavourable and his thoughts on their supporters are stereotypically negative. You may in fact be lowering your chances of landing the job based on your choice to wear that scarf. How would you increase your chance of getting a second interview? What could you do in a presentation or website that could persuade an audience to accept you through association? Using source effects like credibility to persuade an audience by providing examples of trustworthiness and expertise. Creating a professional website about yourself can pre-sell your personality before a meeting. Or perhaps try and appeal to the likability aspect. By understanding your audience and target market, you can find common traits or similarities. Talking about what you like about a company in a job interview or wearing clothes that fit in with the business culture can help predefine an attitude still in its forming stage. Social judgment theory reveals how important an individual's prior attitude affects their future decision. The theory explains that when an individual is given a choice, they associate it to similar pre-existing attitudes. When a message is perceived as being far removed from an existing attitude, it is known as the latitude of rejection. When the message is quite similar to an existing attitude, it is called the latitude of acceptance. Understanding this theory explains why it may be very difficult to change someone's opinion on a subject. You may be wasting your time trying to persuade someone to buy a product that they see absolutely no need for. Let's look at this example. In 1982, the American toothpaste company Colgate decided to branch out and produce a line of frozen meals called Colgate Kitchen Entrees. When consumers made their purchasing choice in store, their previous attitudes about Colgate came into play. Their sensory memory told them that the last time they bought a Colgate product, it left a very different and minty taste in their mouth. There was a strong latitude of rejection towards the product, and it would not sell in the marketplace. In comparison, a frozen meal brand named Home Cooked could have less resistance, and the attitude towards the product would fall within the range of a good food memory and attitudes towards similar products. If Colgate had used a schema to research how consumers construct mental connections with their brand, they would see little association between toothpaste and the pleasure of eating. The established attitudes about Colgate did not involve eating food as a positive thing. If different or creatively unique things make persuasion difficult, then how do you persuade people to like your own individualism or unique business style? What if you're an outwardly flamboyant or creative person? Just like when examining attitudes about brands, you can also use a schema to see how your image is outwardly perceived in a professional arena. The aim is for the message receiver to easily decode the message you are sending, and the best way to do that is by giving them something they can relate to, like emotional message appeal, like humour or likability sources to help them redefine their attitudes. We've now looked at 3 theories on attitude change: the elaboration likelihood model, the balance theory, and social judgment theory. We've seen that in order to effectively change people's attitudes, certain messages and source effects must be put into action. And most importantly, the principles we use to market products and businesses can also be used to change people's attitudes about you.